Perform the operations by hand, then use a calculator to check your work. So when we're working with problems that have more than one operation going on, we want to be sure that we're following the order of operations. So on all the order of operation problems that I'm going to be working in these videos, over on the side I'm going to put a little diagram to help me to remember the order of operations. So I know first I'm going to do what's inside parentheses or other grouping symbols. So we know we've got parentheses, we might see some square brackets like that. And we also need to remember that if I have a fraction looking thing, something like this, if we have a quotient, that fraction bar also works as a grouping tool. So that would also fall into this parentheses category. Once we take care of everything that's inside of those grouping symbols, then we're going to do exponents. Then we're going to multiply or divide going from left to right. Then we're going to add or subtract, again going from left to right. So for our first problem we have 6 minus 4 plus 5. So the order of operations tells us that we're going to do adding or subtraction going from left to right. And going from left to right I see subtraction first. So the first thing I'm going to do is this 6 minus 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. And then I'm going to bring down all the pieces that I haven't done yet. This is a really important step. A lot of people want to try to do everything in their heads. Let your paper carry the work for you. Just take it one step at a time. Now we only have one operation left, so of course that's the operation we should do. 2 plus 5 is 7. Now this next problem is looking very similar, but we've got some parentheses going on and our operations have changed. So let's take a look here. We're going to do what's inside of parentheses first. So inside these parentheses we have 4 minus 5. Well, to do 4 minus 5, that's the same as 4 plus negative 5. 4 plus negative 5 would give us negative 1. Now that's still inside the parentheses. When I work inside parentheses, the parentheses do not go away if all I've done is what's inside those parentheses. So I'm going to bring down the 6, and I'm going to bring down this minus sign here is right here. So now I have 6 minus a negative 1. Well, we know that 6 minus negative 1 is the same thing as 6 plus 1. And so the answer to that one is also 7. But notice it's a very, very different process that got me to that answer. Let's use our calculator to help us with this. Remember that our calculator has parentheses, and our calculator also will help us keep track of doubled up operation signs and all those things. Finally, if you have a scientific calculator, your scientific calculator knows the order of operations, so it will always follow the order of operations whether we want it to or not. So we have to keep that in mind. So our first problem, we did 6 minus 4 plus 5. And when we enter that, we end up with 7. Notice we can put in the whole problem all at once. We don't have to go one step at a time. Now for this next problem, we have to be sure that we use those parentheses. So 6 minus, we must include the parentheses here because that's part of what tells the problem what order things will be done. So 4 minus 5, we're going to close the parentheses, and when we press enter, we also get an answer that confirms the work that we did by hand.